guys, or does it work in reverse as well?
Well, if you read the, and I actually said this in this training, but if you actually read what Brandon's review of the book, he said, "Oh my God, this is what hot women do to guys." Right? I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what all the early successful seduction stuff came from. Is what hot women are naturally doing. So if you just reverse the dynamic back to a female-male perspective, you're going to have exactly the model that works, right? And then what you do is you look at Robert Greene stuff and you look at all the different archetypes of the seductresses, and you can decide which of those fits your persona the best, realizing that a persona is just a mask and you can change them. Especially if you've got the identity by design material, right? You can step into any identity you want, right? So we talk about foundational skill set, and then we talk about, what's the wrapping? What's it packaged in? And when I mean that, is, are you the coquette? Are you the rogue? Are you the rake? Are you, those are archetypes, seduction archetypes, right? What you'll discover, and again, I'm using the classical archetype of romantic hero as an example, is that if you look at all of the heroes that women find utterly irresistible and attractive, there's a formula to it. There's 5 basic characteristics, and every single one of them, every single hero in every single story has all 5 characteristics. The difference is the proportion, right? As good a place to start as any, because the characters and the identities that you create as you move through the world will impact the perceptual filters people thank you, project on you, right? I didn't want to use a red one because they don't show up real well. So let's look at James Bond, right? Captain Jack Sparrow. Here's one, Austin Powers.
I have no idea.
Sam Spade. Luke Skywalker. Captain Kirk was cool. All right. Han Solo. Indiana Jones. What? You do not know who?
What about Don Juan?
All right. Well, let's start with these archetypes. Let's look at them, shall we? Huh? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Now, the 5 basic characteristics of the classical archetypal romantic hero: adventurous, relentless, / ruthless. They are dominant. Strong. And when I say strong, I'm talking not just in terms of physical, but as well as mentally strong, right? Or tough, right? They are cynical. That's the term that Mark Cunningham used to apply to it. I prefer the term streetwise. Okay? Those are the. Now I add two more to this mix. Mysterious. These are my distinctions. And humorous. Okay? Or I should say a sense of humor, which often is manifested here, right? Let's look at James Bond. Regardless of what version, whether it's the Sean Connery version, the Roger Moore, what are you so dressed up for? Did you go to church?
I heard you doing this subject, so I thought
Oh, okay. Can you dial down the tie? I'm going into trance.
actually it's
I really like that tie.
It is a cool tie. I like it.
I really like that.
I like it. All right. So James Bond. Is James Bond adventurous? Is he relentless and ruthless?
Okay. Yep.
Is he dominant? Is he strong? Tough? How about streetwise? Right, even though he's very cultured, right? He's very, very... So, he passes, right? Captain Jack Sparrow. Is he relentless? Is he dominant?
No, it is on way he is.
Yeah, he is.
It is on way.
Captain Jack
It doesn't have to
Sparrow?
look like the same thing.
Dominant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Right? Is he as obviously dominant as James Bond?
No.
Ah. Is he cynical?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sad.
Would you say he's more or less cynical?
More.
Ah. What's changing?
The attributes.
The proportions of one to the other. But they're all there. Right? This is how, once you understand the attributes, you decide the proportions. Right? Which archetype, male or female, do you most powerfully resonate with? What's the closest match? And then modify. Right? This is what the whole identity by design silo was about originally. Right? Most of you guys, some of you know this, some of you don't. The identity by design silo that we now use therapeutically was designed as an inner game process for aspiring pickup artists. But the change work was so pervasive and so profound that we just rolled it into a therapeutic model, and it just changes lives everywhere it goes. Right? Because it goes to the foundations of identity, the building blocks of personality, and gives you the tools to change it. Right? And that's what we'll be doing in Vegas as a self-work program. Right? Now, the one I'm doing in Vegas is going to have a few extra bells and whistles because I had to modify. I had to find a way to cater to the covert hypnosis crowd a little bit. So we're going to talk about some of the more black arts type of stuff about personality modification. We probably won't do any of it, but we will discuss how it was done and give you a few dark side things that you can play with. We'll talk about something called the October Man. How many people have ever heard of the October Man? Okay. We'll be talking about that process, which comes from and is derived from Milton Erickson's work called The February Man. Yes?
I just wanted to throw out, I found February Man online for free, PDFs.
Oh, cool.
A few of them, so.
Good. Yeah. So, again.
Post them. You got a cold?
All right. So, going into a more comedic vein, right? Let's go into a more comedic vein. Austin Powers. Is he dominant? Yeah, baby, yeah. Right? Is he relentless?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is he cynical? Has he got machine gun jubblies? Right? Sam Spade, for those of you who do not know who Sam Spade is. Humphrey Bogart, Maltese Falcon, greatest detective ever short of Sherlock Holmes. Not really. Which version? Every version. I'm talking about the character, not the actor. Sherlock Holmes is awesome. Right? Right? Why is Sherlock Holmes so awesome? By the way, is Sherlock Holmes adventurous? Is he cynical? Way cynical. Is he dominant?
Yeah.
I said adventurous, right? Is he strong? Is he tough?
Yeah.
Do you see a pattern? Here's the rub. When you build and amplify these qualities and characteristics in your life, and by the way, ladies, most of these will apply to you as well. Every part of your life will improve because these are classic success traits. When you embody these traits appropriately, you will engender attraction just by walking in the room. Okay? Because the human neurology is hardwired to sort for that. From the time we crawled out of the ocean and started forming societies, that's what led to survival. Okay? From Gilgamesh to King Arthur, right? I don't know if Noah had a sense of humor. Anybody who has to smell that many animals for that period of time probably has a very good sense of humor and a really bad sense of smell. But this is how we work. We have to decide who do we need to be in a given situation or context that is most likely going to lead to my outcome, and step into that persona. And when we're done, if we like it, we can keep it. Or we can put it back in the closet and put something else on that's a little bit more comfortable. As long as we remember that it's still, even the ones we're comfortable in are still just suits of clothing that we wear. Does that make sense? All right. Indiana, yes.
So even the women would step into these characters?
They could. Or you can find other. Now, again, you have to look at what kind of a role model do you want to really embody, right? But if you look at the classical ones, before we really started flipping gender identities and gender roles, right? Who were the classic feminine heroines pre-1980s? Huh?
Oh, 1980s?
Pre-1980s.
Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe, okay. Now, the actress or the character? Let's make a distinction. Well, yeah. Actually, Norma Jean was quite intelligent. Norma Jean was quite intelligent. Most people don't realize that Marilyn was a persona that Norma wore, and she could turn it on and off like a switch. In fact, in Kenrick Cleveland's course, the Charisma Switch, which I was doing stuff on Charisma long before this, Marilyn could step onto the subway, or actually Norma could step onto the subway and ride it from end to end, and nobody would pay attention to her. No one would bat an eye. And she was telling her friend about this one day, and her friend looked at her like she was crazy. She goes, "You want to see Marilyn?" And they're on the subway. Nobody's paying attention. She goes, "You want to see Marilyn? Watch." Boom. And in seconds, she was swarmed. She turned it off again, walked away. Right?
She's a classic, which was her frustration. She was a beautiful woman that everybody considered not intelligent.
Yeah.
And that's what she was always fighting.
Mm-hmm.
The role she played in, you know.
Again, she had to fight, just like the early Hollywood did. Everybody was typecast.
Yeah.
There was a type, and if you fit it, you got in, right? You won't find very many A-listers who broke outside of that mold. Okay? Right? Someone was raising a hand? Yes.
I was just thinking, I did this one with Gandhi. Would you say that he fit the...
Was Gandhi adventurous?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Who stands in front of a crowd of armed militia and says, "No, I will not fight you and I will not move"?
Exactly. That's why, yeah.
Right? Was he relentless?
Yes. Stubborn as fuck.
Was he dominant?
Yeah.
Yes. Dominance takes many forms. Was he cynical?
The woman before the 80s was Maureen O'Hara.
Maureen O'Hara?
I mean,
Okay, you talking about the actress or you talking about the character?
The actress. I don't know about the...
Okay, I don't know the actress, so I can't comment.
Well, she did some great movies.
I'm sure she did, but what character?
She played, her characters were every one of that.
Okay.
I mean, was every, I wish I could think of some movies, but she did a lot with
John Wayne.
John Wayne.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Stuff like that.
Yes.
Does it result in when you were switching personas like that?
Does it what?
Like when someone is in a work setting
Mm-hmm.
and you can switch on the persona and become one versus the other very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Does it result to confusion in your environment?
Yes. For a moment. Real quick, to speak to that, you weren't here last Identity by Design where I went into Captain Jack the acupuncturist. Right? Yeah, I put the video. I put the clip on. We were teaching deep trance identification, and I had just been talking about something or other, and I lapsed into Captain Jack while I was doing hypnosis on somebody else for deep trance identification. Right? And the story that preceded that. How many people were there for that? Just so I know. Okay. Talk to these people. It was really. And then find the clip on YouTube if you want to see it. You see the back of it. Yeah. But what happens is, people will go through a adjustment period, and then they'll stop paying attention if you hold the frame long enough and strong enough. So when I was testing the impact of socially programmed anchors, At that time, I had just moved to Los Angeles, and I was looking for social contacts. You know, I'm a geek at heart, and I was looking for a way to cut loose and explore my wild side a little bit. And so I've always been into role-playing games and the Society for Creative Anachronism and all of these things. So I started looking for an SCA group that had a pirate theme to it. This is about a year maybe before Pirates of the Caribbean came out. I had no idea it was coming. And so I got to know this group called Clan Darksail, and you can still find them, actually. They actually do a lot of Ren fairs and stuff around here and things like that. And I got involved with them and started developing a persona. And a few months later, Pirates of the Caribbean came out, and I found the missing elements for what I was looking for in the character of Captain Jack. My character is not Captain Jack per se, but there are a lot of characteristics that he shares with him, right? And one of the things I was noticing was anytime a trailer came on or Johnny Depp appeared or heard, and Johnny Depp has always been a salivator for most women, right? From 21 Jump Street on up, right? And so I was like, well, what would happen if I just moved through the world triggering that anchor? Right? Just using the characteristics that people associate with him, what would happen? So I just started walking through the world like this. I'd go to the clinic and I'd say, "Hello, love, how are you?" And they go, "Oh, you sound just like Johnny Depp." I said, "No, he sounds like me." Right? And they go, "That accent is so amazing. Where are you from?" "Oklahoma." Right? And I'm walking around in a white lab coat with a stethoscope and a clipboard, all right, in a medical clinic. And these people have known me for a year. "Why are you talking like that?" "Like what?" Why do you have to change your voice?" "Well, why do you color your hair?" Right? And so there was this brief adjustment period, about 2 or 3 days, and then people just stopped caring. But the effect when I spoke was obvious. Society, movies, television, media spends an enormous amount of time to hard program these things into you so you will respond. If they're going to go through all that trouble to put that shit in there, why don't we just use it? Why don't we just use it? Right? Because when you do, it's huge! Oh, you guys aren't Trump fans, I see, huh? What?
That's Bernie.
That's Bernie? Huge?
Huge.
Huge. Okay.
Huge.
So my point is, use it. That's the realm of the covert hypnotist. We see the matrix, and we use it. Right? Everything you're being inundated with has one goal: to program you. To front load you, to prime you and predispose you to certain types of behaviors, certain types of perceptions. And it will manage you to some degree, because it's too much of it not to. But as we become more self-aware, as we practice these skill sets, we work in the matrix instead of having it work on us. We get more choice. We get more awareness. Right? So Sam Spade is a good classic one. Any of the old John Wayne characters, from Rooster Cogburn to Liberty Valance to, right? These are all classic, archetypal, primal male role models, which, by the way, our younger generations need.
Yeah.
We need these. We need, if you want your partners to be more feminine, you have to be more masculine.
Yes.
Because the overall population of men is becoming progressively more feminized. Okay? And as a good thing as that might sound, it's not. Okay? Because it's creating more frustrated women.
We forgot to name one more. Clint Eastwood.
Most of Clint Eastwood's characters are extraordinarily masculine, almost to the point of having an extra chromosome. right?
That's right.
I mean, if you look at most of his characters, they're not very romantic at all, but they do pull from the same archetype.
I don't really have a sense of humor. I haven't picked up on that
Or
with this character.
He's very cynical.
He's very, I mean, the sense of humor is just not there.
Oh, really? You ever watch any of the old Dirty Harry movies?
Oh, I guess so. Now that you say
We're not just gonna let you walk out of here.
Do you want me to
Who?
nail it?
Me, Smith, and Wesson.
Are you feel unlucky?
Right?
Because I think that's
Right.
funny, you know?
Yeah, that's mighty white of you. Remember that line?
Wow.
Or when he's getting chewed out by his boss, they tell you you're mouthwashing.
Huh? What's that?
When he's getting chewed out by his boss in the elevator and he just turns around and tells him your mouthwash ain't cutting it.
Yeah. It's your mouthwash ain't cutting it.
All he cares about is
Eddie Murphy used to do an old, a skit about his mom and about stuff being not big, about eating ice cream up off the floor, and he goes into this mock Clint Eastwood. Why'd you eat the ice cream off the floor? Right? So everyone. Now, going further for females, because there's always been this problem with, well, who does actually qualify as a good male role model? Look at the older ones, like the literary heroes, like Jane Austen. Right? A lot of the Pride and Prejudice books, right, have very strong feminine characters for their time period, right? Right? This is, again, what we want to look at in terms of the qualities and characteristics. Jane Austen was very progressive in terms of her characterizations, right? And that's why her books have stood the test of time, right? In fact, they keep redoing her books with zombies. Right? So, and if you really want to get into the formulas, you need to study romance novels. For a lot of reasons, and especially in terms of hypnotic languaging. Hypnotic languaging, 51% of all books sold are romance novels. That means the entire other 49% is everything else. The Bible, the Quran, right? Reader's Digest, everything else. And this stuff has a formula to it. And it's written in a certain structure. The characters have a formula. There's a great book that Mark Cunningham recommended many, many years ago. It's a book of essays written by female romance writers. It's called Dangerous Men, Adventurous Women. And you can extract the formula, right? Okay. Dangerous Men, Adventurous Women.
Is that archetype?
Huh?
Is that archetype?
They're in there. You'll have to. It's not listed out in like bullet points like I just did here, but if you read the essays, you'll be able to extract it, right? Okay. Questions on this?